Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to another F1 2017 career mode, and today we're looking at China. Statistically not my best track in the past in previous games, but during practice the car felt pretty good. I got a nice setup going, basically the same as I ran in Australia, just with lower wings. The mechanical grip felt quite good, so jumping on straight into Q1 and down into the final few corners to start the lap, I figured I'd show you guys like a qualifying lap and then from Q1, and then show you some. I think I ran for the entire Q1 session, but I'm only going to show you a couple of the laps. Not really anything major happened during qualifying, but yeah, I'll leave you on board with this first lap. Enjoy the footage. Fernando Alonso there getting the fastest lap. The car still feels, the handling model still feels a bit twitchy. Still getting used to it. I run with a controller, so I run with ABS on, just so that I don't end up locking up into every corner. And I run with the traction control on the medium setting. It gives still a little bit of slip, but it's doable with the controller. P4 there on a 137.2. I thought I'd give it another run at least. Managed to get myself up to P7 and then jumping straight into Q2. I thought I'd skip to the end of the session for Q2. I wasn't feeling too confident in the pace of the car and just wanted to get a quick run in before the end of the session when the track's nice and rubbered up. So coming on to the final corner, launch onto the main straight, DRS wide open. Let's have a nice run. I quite enjoy turn 1 on these F1 games. The AI seem to take a very slow approach, but you can actually dive quite hard. I imagine with the ABS off it would be a different matter into turn 1, but you can actually dive quite hard into turn 1 and slam on the brakes to bring the front end back round. Coming to the end of the first sector, how good were the overtakes at Chinese Grand Prix this year at this corner? That was unreal. Yeah, these next two corners feel so good in the 2017 cars. You can just really throw the car into the corners, and the grip is just there. The whole time. The car just feels so planted in high-speed corners this year. Second sector split not looking too bad, 54.7. Around the banked corner to come onto the back straight. DRS wide open and unleash the taps. Top speed of these cars is a bit more than the 2016 cars, but not by much. It's more to do with the downforce package this year. And that was really all there was left in the car to give, really. Yeah, I struggled a bit.
Ready to go then, and this is what the starting grid looks like for today's race. Kimi Raikkonen's perfect lap yesterday sees him start from pole position, and Lewis Hamilton completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Ricciardo, Vettel, Valtteri Bottas, and Massa, Verstappen, Stroll, Grosjean, and Kevin Magnussen, Hulkenberg and a Renault, Esteban Ocon and Sainz, Kvyat, Perez, Fernando Alonso and Stoffel van Dorn, Ericsson and Pascal Wehrlein completes the grid. And now it's time to head down to the track.
Okay, we qualified higher than we were anticipating. Let's see if we can do just as well in
graphics, and people are getting pulled up for that on YouTube for breaking copyright laws. So yes, not a bad qualifying. I felt there was not much left in the car to give. Just struggled with grip in the sort of slower corners. So yeah, onto the formation lap. Pretty standard sort of race strategy. I only do 25% races at the minute, and there's not a lot you can really do with that sort of strategy. You sort of you have a one stop, two stop is just you lose too much time. After the formation lap, everything seems okay. Starting alongside my teammate in P12. A little bit of a weird situation here where my teammate sort of clipped my front wing as he came across, and we both sort of got disqualified from the formation lap. But lining up on the grid and ready for lights out, I'll leave you with the start. Of the two Hasses there, but I'm going to have to get out the brakes early into turn 1. Everybody seems to get through nice and neatly, not too shabby, and you can sort of hug that inside line. Two Hasses coming together there. Hug the inside line outside of the Red Bull. I believe that's Daniel Ricciardo. No, it's Verstappen. Fighting with Magnussen, drop it down, keep the inside line, sort of run him out wide, heavy on the brakes, up the inside of Verstappen and Stroll, and onto the back of Massa. That was a nice sort of diving movement the inside on the brakes there. Into the high speed corners there and down into the sort of slow. This is where the car feels least unstable. I mean, the back end just wants to slide. Steering feels a bit twitchy. Up into rich mode. Drop it down the inside of Felipe Massa. That was a key move to do there. Just to stick on the back of these top 6, run it out wide a little bit, lose a bit of traction, but you can sort of still maintain speed into that bank corner. The Renault did feel a bit underpowered coming down on this back straight here, just with the Merc engines in the back of the Williams and the Force Indias and the like. But yeah, that was the opening lap. Not too shabby, up from 12th to 6th. It's all about track position really in this game, in this race length. Nothing much really happened in the opening couple of laps. I managed to stick onto the back of Daniel Ricciardo and get DRS, which drew me away from Massa in a way, which was quite helpful. Was able to keep up with him in the first couple of corners and then towards the end of the lap as well, and just stick on that DRS on the straights and not really make much progress, but was able to stick with him. Coming on to lap 4, and we are right on the back of Daniel Ricciardo. Right on the back of Daniel Ricciardo into turn 1. Right around the outside, ran it too far and onto the grass and lost a lot of ground. Engine wear was looking a bit worse for wear really. I mean, it's only done 3 practice sessions at Australia for qualifying, most of the race but not all of the race. On the inside of Daniel Ricciardo into the hairpin at the end of the back straight. Fairly standard move, and up into P5. Coming into the round of pit stops, and we've got Bottas ahead of us, 2 Mercs and the 2 Ferraris I think are ahead of us, and Hamilton and the 2 Ferraris have already made a pit stop. But yeah, the engine wear is quite worrying, so I think I'm going to focus on the durability side of the engine, and then it's a case of I can finish races more consistently and I'm not going to get any engine penalties. So yeah, I think we're coming into box this lap. We are. Be careful of the inside wall and the outside wall on that pit entrance. Drop it down, put the pit lane limiter on, and into the pit lane for a nice stop. I have noticed that there is the possibility to get the pit stops faster with your R&D and with actually just completing races, which is quite nice. It's quite a nice little touch to add to the game.
Up to speed now. Let's get some heat.
So we come out of the pit lane and we are going to come out just in front of Massa, but again behind Ricciardo. So I think we've lost time in that pit stop, really, respective to Ricciardo, but we'll see what we can do. We've still got plenty of spare fuel left, and yeah, just put the hammer down really and get going. Still ahead of target in terms of our finishing position, so it's a case of just how far can we work our way up. The car felt much better in race trim with all the heavy fuel and a bit more of a rubbered in track than it did during qualifying. Found a bit more pace, but still kinda not really one of my strong tracks. I don't know, there's something about that middle sector, it doesn't just really flow for me, I guess. And this sort of bank turn onto the back straight, not really such a fan. I can never sort of get the angle right. I either cut it too sharp or cut it too wide. So Ricciardo and the Sauber here, with Vettel going 3 wide into this hairpin at the bottom. It was a pretty close fight between these three just after the round of pit stops, and Ricciardo actually managed to jump Vettel. So Ricciardo having a beast of a second stint really. 2 minutes in the pits as the Sauber peels off into the pit lane, and now we're chasing down Vettel and Ricciardo. But Vettel obviously got the DRS on Ricciardo. In fact, no, I think Ricciardo will have had the DRS. Was he? No, Vettel has the DRS on Ricciardo, probably from the Sauber to begin with. Vettel goes up the inside of Ricciardo and back into net P4. And that was pretty much it. I mean, we weren't able to catch Ricciardo, really, and we were able to sort of stay with him for a long time, and then we started to have to fuel save.
We're sat in 6th.
It was a case of just defend from Massa from behind, really.
0.7 seconds. They're on fresh softs. Massa behind. Less than a second separate you. They're on old softs. Look after these tyres now. We want to finish the race on this compound. 5 laps till the end. Okay, copy that.
Sort of in that weird midfield range in terms of engine performance and car performance at the minute, where we're able to fight with some of the top 3 teams on weekends where maybe they're not performing well, or stints that they're not performing well, and we're able to sort of lead the pack of the midfield but not really pull away too fast. The Williams seem to be our main competitors early on in the season. Hopefully that should last till the end. That means we're sort of on the right pace. The Williams car this year is quite, I wouldn't say strong, it's fast in a straight line, it's got the Mercedes engine in the back. And, you know, Massa and Stroll are doing a good job so far this season with it, in the real life season. So it should be quite a tough competition for us in the game season. So that's the first lap after the pit stop. Coming on to the back straight now, and yeah, just settling in for the last sort of 4 laps. Trying to catch Ricciardo, but I think he's going to pull away, and just trying to defend from Massa. So yeah, just popped up there again, guys. The engine wear is quite worrying for the start of the season. I've noticed a lot of people seem to be getting sort of engine blowouts mid-race. My goal is to just finish as many races as possible and hope that the points follow. I realise until I make some performance upgrades, the Renault is not going to be able to compete with the Mercedes, the Ferrari, the Red Bull, sort of way out of our league here. But yeah, as long as the engine components last until the end of the season, I figure that I stand a better chance of scoring points. I'm not going to get engine penalties. Sergio Perez retiring from the race appears to be some sort of mechanical issue. Just pulls off down a slip road. No big deal, but that's one of our main competitors out of the race. So yeah, guys, we didn't We didn't really manage to catch Ricardo. We sort of pulled a decent enough gap to Massa. Coming on to the last lap of the race, it's just a case of finish. So I will leave you with this last lap. Enjoy the footage. I think it's.
Some information on Magnussen. They're slowing down. It seems like there's some kind of problem with their car.
Went onto the back straight then, last few corners left of this race, and I don't think the performance has been too bad really. I mean, we started P12, we got that jump on all our main competitors in the first sort of lap and a half, and we were able to stick with Ricardo for a bit, guys, so that's not too disheartening really. At a power circuit, I mean Canada with that, China with that back straight is always going to be tough for a Renault powered engine, and I'm quite happy with the P5. I think Verstappen must have had a bad race, but yeah, P5, not too bad, and on to Bahrain for the next race.
So, another excellent win from Ferrari. And Anthony Davidson, give me your thoughts. How did they accomplish this result?
Well, I'd say it's just raw pace, plain and simple. I mean, we could sit here and talk about strategy all day, the overtaking, looking after the tyres. But at the end of it all, if you want to win, you need a package that's got the speed over everyone else. And that's exactly what they had today.
And as we can see, it's time for the podium. And as the drivers make their way out, there's a familiar red suit making its way to the top step. Fantastic win for Ferrari.
So, nice win for Kimi Räikkönen there. Thanks for watching, guys. Subscribe to the channel for the next, well, for the rest of the season really. On to Bahrain next.
So then, it's time to see how this result affects the Drivers' Championship.